Hello and welcome to the first ever FPL Consult live stream. Right, so finally I'm here, able to live stream for you guys. I've been able to get the equipment and the software ready. So actually I wanted to live stream last season already, but yeah, I just didn't feel like it was ready yet. So now we're gonna start the season off and we're ready. Yeah, so excited to interact with you guys live. Right, so we have quite a couple of things planned for today. Right, so I'm just gonna give a rough outline of how the stream is gonna be. So I don't want to keep this that long. It's gonna be just a chill and relaxed stream. Right, we're just gonna talk about some of the bigger game week one decisions that we do have to make. Right, so it's just gonna be at about an hour or so, so that people can watch this back as well. And yeah, this is the first live stream ever. So hopefully there's no technical hiccups whatsoever, right? But if it does happen, I apologize in advance. All right, yeah, so first we're just gonna have a chat about the effective ownerships of most of the teams and then most of the players as well. And then after that I'll share with you guys some of my thoughts with regards to all these players that we probably have headaches with regards to, right? And then after we'll just talk a little bit more in depth about my latest team. And yeah, right, that's right beside me right now. This is currently my latest draft, right? And then after that, we'll do a little Q&A to end off the stream, right? So if you guys are here, please drop a like as well, and yeah, do say hi in the chat, right? Nice to see everyone there in the chat. Yeah, I'm so used to interacting with you guys through the comments, right? So it's so nice to actually see you guys on the chat, right? So hopefully this is the first of many, right? And yeah, let's get on with the content, right? But before you guys before we get on with it, please help me out and drop a like on this video as well, on this stream as well. Yeah. All right. So let's just go straight into it, right? So the first thing I want to talk about, right? We're not going to talk about my team first. I think the first thing I want to talk about is this. Right, so this website is fpldata.co.uk. Right, so it's just basically a website to help us to kind of see the effective ownerships of most of the teams. And yeah, I mean, in general, we don't really see a lot of things that we're not used to, right? Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal, they're all at the top, right? So you see the list down there. This is basically a graph that kind of shows the effective ownerships of all the teams. And on the right, all the teams there are in order, right? So Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Most of them are pretty straightforward, right? We're obviously going to go for these players. Right, I think something interesting from this graph that we can see, right, is if you realize there's kind of a peak for the Liverpool players right here at 30th of July, right, which was yesterday. Obviously, the Community Shield had an effect on this. And then for Man City, right, it went the other way, right? So I mean, obviously, FPL managers are reactive managers, but when I see this, I mean, I'm immediately thinking a lot of us are shifting away from City assets, right? And then Arsenal as well. So on the same day, of course, Arsenal won Sevilla, if I'm not wrong, 6-0, right? So really, really insane. Gabriel Jesus went on fire as well. And then Saka, really, really, yeah, I mean, he's one of the players that we should be looking out at the 8 mil bracket, I feel. And then, yeah, so that's why we see this Arsenal team ownership really just jumping from here, right? So, yeah, I think, I mean, it's not really out of the ordinary. We're probably going to see the ownerships of the top teams kind of rise as well. I think something that's quite interesting is the Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Manchester United assets are ranked right after them, right? So I think something I don't really like about the Aston Villa assets is that they have a good run of game week 1 to game week 3 fixtures, but if we do own them, right, then what happens after when the tough fixtures come, right, from game week 4 onwards? So I think I would probably not have an Aston Villa asset in my team, right? I know a lot of people are probably gonna go for, oh no, I have Bailey, but I do have some plans for him, right? Later I'll share, right? But Matty Cash, I probably wouldn't go for him. I think a lot of people are gonna go for Matty Cash, but I probably would stay away. Newcastle United, a lot of people gonna go for Trippier as well. So I think he is a good option. Don't get me wrong, but once again, I mean, if we are gonna rotate with maybe a Brentford, because Newcastle and Brentford rotate really well. So if we are gonna do that, then I would say Trippier can be considered, right? And on top of that, I think a lot of people are going for Bruno Guimaraes, right? But that's kind of a pick that I don't really understand. I think a lot of you guys kind of like Bruno Guimaraes, right? So yeah, I think I I don't see the attractiveness there, right? But maybe further on the season, I will see how how he plays, and let's kind of take a look. All right, so yeah, I mean nothing out of the ordinary here. But I think it was just interesting to kind of see how reactive we were, and immediately after the Community Shield, we saw the reactions, and also for the Arsenal team, right? So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, so let's take a look now at the goalkeepers, defenders, and the midfielders, right? So I think let's start with the goalkeepers, right? So we're just gonna have a discussion now, right? Okay, wait, let me see. Oh, the chats are all coming in now. Wow, wow, wow! It's really, really nice. Wow, nice to see everyone. Oh, FPL Philip is here. Hi, FPL Insight as well. Xavier, Schmeichel, right? Really, really nice to see all of you guys. I'm so used to interacting with y'all on the comments, so I think this is nice. This is nice. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the keepers first. I mean, who are you guys going for? Right, let me know. Let me know that in the chat right now. Who are you guys gonna go for? I mean, I'm currently going for Sanchez, right? But it's been flipping around Sanchez and Raya, right? So I think keepers are really a tough decision, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. Let's just take a look at the effective ownerships of the keepers first, shall we? So basically, Mendy is up top there, right? So I think it's pretty obvious that a lot of us are thinking like he is one of the better picks, but we see this graph here at this point. I mean, that's where it all dropped, and that's actually where Chelsea kind of lost 4-0 to Arsenal, right, in the Florida Cup. I mean, I do feel like we didn't play really well there. I am a Chelsea fan, right, and we didn't play well, right? So we kind of deserve to lose that match. But immediately after that, his effective ownership dropped all the way, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not really liking Mendy as a pick. And on top of that, Alisson and Ederson, the rest of them are also up there as well, right? So something about the premium keepers that I kind of wanna, I actually wrote this down, right? I kind of wanna let you guys know as well, like my thoughts about the premium keepers as opposed to the non premium keepers. So for the premium keepers, they cost about 1 mil more, right? So what that means is that our money is going to be stuck in the keeper, right? So we're probably not going to have a transfer. We're not going to want to make a transfer on our keeper. We're going to want to save the transfers for our outfield players. So if we have that 1 mil in our keeper, then essentially that money would be kind of stuck there, right? So if you are going to go for a premium keeper, that's something you need to consider as well. And secondly, the premium keepers like Ederson and also Alisson, right? They have a really low ceiling. I feel like Mendy as well. They have a very low ceiling. They're just gonna get you your clean sheets. They're just gonna get you those 6 points, right? I feel like they won't get as much save points and also bonus points as well. I think I saw a tweet where Ederson I think got about like a really really low amount of bonus points the whole of last season, right? So you're really just going for the 6 points there. And another reason why I don't like the premium keepers is that they block the triple up option, right? So I would say I'm pretty surprised that Alisson has a higher ownership than Ederson actually, because I feel like the Liverpool triple up is more attractive than a City triple up, right? So not sure why people have gone for Alisson there, right? But if they have, then Alisson would then block that third spot for them. So you can't, if you have Trent and Salah, you can't go for Robbo or Diaz, right? So that's something to consider about the premium keepers, right? So but for the non-premium keepers, they're about 1 mil less, right? They have a higher ceiling, right? They have more save points, more bonus points, and they also don't block your triple up option, right? So that's one of the reasons why I kind of don't really like the premium keepers, right? But definitely they are premium keepers for a reason, right? They're gonna get you your clean sheet. So if you're looking for those kind of steady 6 points, then I guess that's where you probably would go for them, right? So as for the rest of the keepers, we see Sanchez, Gazzaniga, Ramsdale, Raya, right? So Gazzaniga from Fulham, I feel like he's not gonna play. Fulham, if I'm not wrong, they're gonna sign Bernd Leno, if I'm not wrong, right? But we still have to wait and see the news. But that's Gazzaniga. Then Ramsdale at 5 mil. I think a lot of people are attracted by the Arsenal fixtures as well, right? So definitely, uh, I'm not really attracted by the Arsenal fixtures because I know that fixtures are good, right? But Ramsdale as a keeper, 5 mil, right? I don't really want to spend that much as well. So I'm just gonna go for 4.5 mil keeper, right? So my decision mainly is Raya or Sanchez, right? So let's take a look in the chat, right? Yeah, people are saying Ramsdale are good. They like the second pick. Yeah, don't really like Sanchez's. FPL Insight says he doesn't really like Sanchez's first few fixtures. Yeah, I agree. Right, but actually I have this prepared, right? Give me a moment. Right. So yeah, I use this tool a lot. It's Fantasy Football Hub. And basically the reason why I've gone for Sanchez in defense is actually I feel like this decision is more based on how long you're going to keep your keeper for, right? Because actually, if you look at the fixture ticker here, from game week 1 to game week 6, I've just clicked the defense tab here. It's in orange at the top. So Man City up top, best defensive fixtures, followed by Liverpool, Spurs, Wolves, Arsenal. Then you see Brentford is above Brighton, right? So that's game week 1 to game week 6, right? And then if I bring it to game week 8, that you suddenly see like Brighton goes all the way up, right, and Brentford is at the bottom. So I mean it's under Leeds, right? So Man City, Brighton, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds, Brentford. So it's pretty low, and Brighton goes all the way up. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I have Sanchez right now, right, and that's one of the reasons. But if you are going for, I've heard a couple of people going for those strategies where they just want to go for the first 4 game weeks and they're gonna walk out in game week 4. So if that's the case, Aston Villa actually has pretty good run. But if that's the case, right, your keepers kind of change, right, based on how good the fixtures are, right? So I feel like for the Raya and Sanchez debate, right, if you're gonna walk out around game week 5, game week 6, I would say maybe go for Raya. But if you are gonna walk out in game week 8, which is what I plan to do, then I'm gonna have Sanchez in goal first, right? So that's the plan, right? Yeah, GV says with Ramsdale it becomes triple Arsenal. Yeah, it does. In my team as well, I currently have Saka and Jesus, right? Jesus, everybody has Jesus. We'll talk about him later. Alisson is the top scorer for keepers last season. That is true. Right, but I mean we're talking about the first 8 game weeks here, and I'm gonna walk out after that already. I probably still wouldn't go for. I mean for the same reasons as I mentioned just now. Right, Sanchez on Walcott, yeah. Brighton the most defensively solid option of the 4.5 mil options too, yeah. Yeah, I mean definitely. I mean it's a debate that's gonna go on for quite a while, right? All the way up till preseason. But I feel like right now I flipped and flopped a few times, but right now I'm just gonna go for Sanchez first. That may change, right? All right. So that's the keepers. I think let's take a look at the defenders now. Alright. I mean, once again, no surprise here, right? Trent, Cancelo, James, Perisic. I'll talk about Perisic later, right? Neco Williams, Medicash, Trippier, Van Dijk, Zinchenko, and Diaz. Right, of course, Trent spiked after the Community Shield, right? Definitely He scored there. I feel like this is just gonna set the tone for the season. He's just gonna get a lot of points again, right, and a lot of assists as well. So definitely, I'm gonna have Trent in my team. I feel like everyone should. Cancelo 7 mil. Um, there are a lot of people who are gonna go for Walker instead, but my thoughts is that is Walker plus 2 mil gonna be able to cover Cancelo's output, right? That's something you have to think about as well, right? And then we have James. I do have James in my team as well, right? And then we have Perisic and Neco Williams. So something about Perisic, I actually have the quote here. Conte actually said he is an important player because he's really good. He moves forward, good in 1v1s, and then he can use both feet. And he was a winger before that. That's why he's good 1v1. But he has to continue to work because at this moment, he's not the Ivan Perisic that I know, right? That is normal though, but I'm happy because he reduced the time to recover from his injury. So I feel like this quote is I mean, there's multiple ways you can take this, right? The good news is that he's recovered earlier from his injury, but I feel like this is kind of a indication that I feel like his minutes may be managed. I don't know, right? I'm not like 100% on this. I know yesterday on a stream, Andy from Let's Talk FPL said he's gonna put Perisic in his team for now, right? So it is pretty interesting, right? And yeah, I mean, Ivan Perisic definitely. I mean, he was in everyone's team at the start, right? That's why his ownership was so high. But after we realized he was injured, then his ownership has just been dropping, right? But yeah, I mean, definitely someone to consider there. So Ivan Perisic, and then Neco Williams. So I feel like the template is actually shifting actually, right? Neco Williams is one of the highest owned, is the highest owned, right? 4 mil defender. It's 26.9% owned, right? So I mean, definitely the template is shifting, I feel, right? From five at the back to uh maybe four premium defenders or four or 3.5 premium defenders, and then after that the last defender will be Neco Williams right on the bench. So the 4-4-2 is, I mean, if you have Neco Williams, you're probably going to do a 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, right? Most likely a 4-4-2 because you're going to have Kane and Jesus up front, right? So I actually do like the 4-4-2. I did mention this in one of the videos as well, that the 4-4-2 actually gives us a lot of what do you say, like flexibility, I feel like, because the price points in your team they help you to kind of move around very easily, and then after that your bench is pretty strong as well. So yeah, I do like Neco Williams at 4 mil. Something to consider as well is Patterson. I think Patterson is a really good 4 mil option as well. So if you want to go a little bit different, then Patterson is a good shout. Yeah, I mean, this is my first live stream, so I'm gonna try my best to interact with the chat as much as possible. I actually didn't know that there's so much technical stuff to settle while doing the stream as well. So props to all the YouTubers who are live streaming. Right, yeah, 4-4-2 for me as well. Ali Mac. Right, so yeah, I think Neco Williams definitely a good shout at 4 mil. Patterson shouldn't be ignored as well. Right, and then Medicash. I think Medicash is an interesting asset, right? His game week 1 to game week 3 fixtures are really, really good. And then it just goes downhill from there, right? West Ham in game week 4, and then yeah, it just goes bad from there. So if you're gonna go for Medicash, right, then what are you gonna do with him after game week 4? Yeah, after game week 4, you probably have to transfer him out, which is not what I like to do. I don't want to like book in the transfer, so I feel like I wouldn't go for a Medicash. Right, Trippier. So Trippier is an interesting one. I feel like Trippier in his preseason as well, he did really, really, really well. Right, he kind of played like a midfielder in one of the games. So really, really interesting. And I feel like he could pop off as well. Right? But the only thing keeping me from him right, is that he does have a couple of tougher fixtures as well. So I don't really like that, right? Right, FPL Penguin is in the chat. Hi. Right, nice to see all of you in the chat. Right, Luca Dean over cash and then get rid in game week 4. Interesting. I mean, Luca Dean, I feel like I would go cash over Luca Dean. Yeah, I do prefer. I feel like cash is a little bit more attacking. Right, okay. Van Dijk, Zinchenko, and Diaz. So I feel like it's interesting that Van Dijk is up here in the list as well. Because if you want to save that extra, I mean, you could just add that extra 0.5 mil to go for Robertson, right? But maybe the whole FPL community just wants to save that 0.5 mil. And then Zinchenko and Diaz. So I think something about Zinchenko that I want to mention is that a lot of people are saying he's going to play out of position, right? But I feel like that may not necessarily be good, right? Because if he's playing as a next to Xhaka, right? Let's say he replaces Partey, right? If he plays next to Xhaka, I don't feel like he'll be very attacking, right? I actually prefer him more as a left back, right? So I don't feel like him playing out of position may necessarily be a good thing, right? So yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on Zinchenko. I think a few of us are gonna go for Zinchenko, but I probably would stay off of him right now. Who is the best 4.5 defender? Yeah, that's a really good question, because at this point in time, if there was an Arsenal defender that was nailed at 4.5 mil, then I would go for that defender, because I've actually had Ben White in my team. I've also had Tomiyasu as well, right? But I just can't find that nailed 4.5 Arsenal defender, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna go for their team, because every other price point kind of doesn't allow me to have the rest of the players that I want, right? So I can only afford 4.5 for an Arsenal defender. I do think that they have the best fixtures defensively as well for the first 8 game weeks, but yeah, I just can't find that Arsenal defender. So if you are looking for a 4.5 defender, I feel like one of my top ones would actually be, I feel like Johnny. Right, I've considered Johnny, and I've also considered Botman from Newcastle as well. Right, Dalot definitely, but that's the thing, right? Dalot is from Manchester United, and Manchester United is Manchester United. So you never really know. I do like how they are looking, that's for sure. Right, but yeah, as in Dalot definitely has that attacking potential, right? So that is really, really, something to consider. Saliba, yeah. So Saliba is another one that I've considered, but the thing is he the first choice centre back next to Gabriel, right? Or is Ben White gonna take that spot again after Tomiyasu comes back? Right, so that's something I've been scouring the Arsenal forums, but I can't really decide who is the better 4.5 Arsenal defender, right? And that's why I haven't gone for them. Right, I actually had them in my draft. All right, okay. So let's move on to the midfielders. I really like this website, by the way, fpldata.co.uk. Yeah, they update the data very frequently. I mean, that's why we can see. So right here, this is the chart of the midfielders, right? And immediately after the Community Shield, Salah just jumps again, right? So, I mean, I feel like our FPL community has just gotten more and more reactive and more like engaged in the game. So it's like really, really, I mean, we have, it's tougher and tougher to kind of get a good rank, but hopefully we can do that this season. So Salah, Son, Andreas Pereira, Luis Diaz, Saka, Neto, Coutinho, Martinelli, De Bruyne, and Bruno G. I mean, Salah is a no-brainer, that's for sure, right? But Son up there is quite interesting. I think Son versus Kane is also a debate that is going on right now. So Son versus Kane, honestly, at this point in time, I feel like there's no there's no clear distinction. If you just feel your gut telling you to go for either one, right, then just go for it. Because at this point in time, 0.5 mil extra for Son, right, I feel is justified because the clean sheet points and also the extra points for scoring a goal, right? So I feel like Son's extra 0.5 mil is justified. So taking the price out, I feel like they're on level playing field, right? Even though Son is kind of a midfielder, right, and then Kane is the forward, right? But a lot of times I also see Kane coming all the way. I mean, this is just the eye test, right? Kane comes all the way back, gets the ball from deep, and then feeds it to Kane, right? So a lot of times Kane drops deep and feeds it to Son, right? And then Son ends up being the one who runs through on goal, right? So a lot of times Son is actually the one that's most advanced, and that is kind of why I feel like the eye test favors Son, right? But the stats wise, I mean, definitely because Kane is on penalties as well, so he's probably predicted to get more points. Right, who is your preferred 8 mil mid? 50-50 between Mount and DS. I think for me DS is definitely out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go for Robertson as the third Liverpool asset. I feel like he's probably going to get more points in the first 8 game weeks, I feel. And there's a lot of hype around Luis Diaz at the start of preseason, but I feel like that has kind of died down now. Right, I feel like after the Community Shield, we kind of saw like he didn't really play as effectively as he did towards the end of last season, right? So Mount, I feel like Saka and Mount are the two that I'm currently considering, the two 8 mil mids. So as of now, I have Saka in my team, right? So actually, Mount and Diaz, they're good shouts for sure. So but I would rank it in Saka, Mount, then Diaz. Yeah. Mahrez more game time, no Sterling or Jesus. Yeah, I mean, so I did mention this as well. Like Mahrez, Grealish, Alvarez, and who was the last one? Foden. Right, four of them. The four of these players are gonna share minutes. I'm pretty sure. There's no one player that's gonna play 90 minutes for sure. Like there's gonna be rotation, right? So that's why I'm gonna lay off the City attackers. Henry Wallace just says Grealish or Mahrez. Can I say neither? I mean, if I have to choose, I would go Mahrez. Yeah. If I have to choose, I would go Mahrez. All right. Who did I not come? Oh, I haven't talked about De Bruyne. Right. So De Bruyne is an interesting one because actually at this point in time, I feel like if you're gonna consider a City attacker, De Bruyne I feel is one of the best. I would rate him above the rest of them, but even Haaland as well, right? Because I feel like after watching the Community Shield, they just didn't gel, right? They just didn't play as well, yeah, and I think they're gonna need some time. They're gonna need some time to find their rhythm and play with a number 9. They actually haven't played with a number 9 for really long, so definitely I'm gonna lay off Haaland, right? I know even though his effective ownership is really high, later we're gonna take a look, but I wouldn't go for Haaland, right? And then I've talked about the City midfielders at the 7 to 8 mil bracket, right? So really that kind of just leaves De Bruyne, right? So I would really really like De Bruyne in my team, but I just can't afford him, right? And one of the things to comfort me is actually that his effective ownership isn't that high, right? It's not as high as the rest of the players, 15.8, right? So it's not as high as maybe Haaland, right? Haaland is like 60 effective ownership. So yeah, I feel like his hauls won't hurt us as much, right? So if we can go for him, definitely he will be a differential, right? But if we don't have him, not to worry too much, I feel. Right. All right, let's talk about the forwards now. All right. So, I mean, this is it for like reactivity if you want to see like how how active our FPL managers are, immediately the Haaland ownership went down and the Jesus ownership went up after 30th of July, which is the Community Shield, and also when Jesus got a hat-trick, right? Jesus is, I feel, essential. Jesus is essential. And Haaland, I mean, his ownership has dropped. I feel like he wasn't very convincing as well. But there's every chance he could pop off, right? So kind of explains his 50-ish% ownership still. And the rest of the 4.5 mil mid, the 4.5 mil forward, right? Greenwood. I feel like we shouldn't go with him because his ownership is really high now. It's gonna drop very soon once people start wildcarding, and we're gonna lose an extra 0.1 mil just for no reason, just leaving him on the bench. So I wouldn't go for Greenwood, right? Maybe have Taylor or even Archer on the bench for your 4.5 mil forward. Right, then there's Kane, Darwin, Taylor, Mitrovic, Martial, Tony, and Vardy. Right, so currently I have Kane in my team, right, and I actually had Son in one of my drafts, right, but I realized that extra 0.5 mil kind of allows me to improve the rest of my team, right? So I'll show you guys later, right? And then Darwin. So I mean, if you look at his ownership, it's kind of just jumped after the Community Shield, right? A lot of people on Twitter are saying he's gonna pop off the coming season. So I mean, every chance that happens, but at this point in time, I don't feel like it's a risk I'm willing to take, right? If you are willing to take that risk as your third Liverpool asset, right, and forgo maybe Robbo or Diaz, if you're willing to do that, then I think Darwin is all right. Right, so then there's Taylor, 4.5 mil. Mitrovic, 6.5. So this Mitrovic pick is something I don't understand. This guy has played many seasons in the Premier League, right? And every time he scores so many goals in the Championship, he comes up and he doesn't score, right? But people just still choose to go for him, right? I feel like his fixtures also aren't really that good. So 6.5 mil, I don't think it's kind of justified. So it's quite interesting that his ownership is quite high. And then as for Martial, let's talk a bit about Manchester United, right? The problem with Manchester United, I feel, right, is Ronaldo is gonna come back, right? I'm pretty certain Ronaldo is gonna stay, and if that happens, Martial just goes out of the window, right? Ronaldo will just definitely be the first choice forward. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go for Martial, right? Maybe if you want to go for a Manchester United asset, then maybe Rashford, or even Sancho, right? Those are better picks. And then there's Ivan Toney, which Ivan Toney is I feel a gem that's not being picked up right now, right? Once Brentford's fixtures pick up from game week 3 onwards, I feel like Toney could be a differential. We may want to jump on him, so let's keep a lookout for that. I'm trying to think if there are ways that I can get to Toney come the better fixtures. Okay. Right. So that's pretty much the portion on the effective ownership. Right. So right now I just wanna show you guys my latest team. Right. So I've gone Sanchez in goal. Right, I've gone for the 4-4-2. Right, I've gone Sanchez in goal. Trent, James, Cancelo, Robertson, Salah, Saka, Neto, Bailey, and then Jesus and Kane up front. Right. So for the keepers, I've kind of already mentioned why I'm going for a 4.5 mil keeper, because that kind of saves me that money to spend elsewhere, and because of that I can afford a lot stronger outfield players. So Sanchez in goal, Robbo and Trent as well as Salah, right? That's the Liverpool triple up that I really like right now, right? I prefer it over the Trent, Diaz and Salah triple up, right? So Robertson goes into the defense for me, right? And then there's James and there's Cancelo, right? So for James and Cancelo, I feel like they have a lot of effective ownership, right? But that's not like one of the key reasons why I'm gonna go for them, right? It's because Cancelo, we did see over the weekend as well, the Community Shield. Like he is that kind of player that really, like he really attacks really well, right? And I feel like when we compare him to Walker, I don't feel like I can justify that extra 2 mil, right, with the output that Cancelo is gonna get over Walker, right? So Cancelo is I feel an essential as well, right? And then James, right? So I know a lot of people aren't backing the Chelsea clean sheet, and just basically they just look a bit shaky, but James doesn't just rely on those clean sheet points, right? He also relies on those attacking returns. So that's why James is there for me now. Right, and there's Salah, Saka, Neto, and Bailey. Right, so Salah, I mean, no doubt. No doubt he's going to be in my team for Game Week 1. He's locked. Right, and then there's Saka, Neto, and Bailey. Right, so an 8 mil mid, I feel I've gone a bit back and forth with this 8 mil mid debate, right? Is it overrated or is it essential, right? And I mean, the preseason has kind of shown us why these players are 8 mil, right? Mason Mount justifies his 8 mil price, right? Luis Diaz arguably as well, right? Saka, Mahrez, I feel like he is still worth that 8 mil as well, right? Because there are runs that he can go on and scores a lot of points, right? So I really feel like an 8 mil mid is essential, right? I've kind of hopped over to this side again, right? And that's why Saka is in the team, so that I can kind of move off to maybe Mason Mount or Madison when Leicester's fixtures pick up, right? So I've gone for Neto and Bailey as the other two, right? So Neto, I feel like his effective ownership is really high, right? We did see just now, right? But Jimenez is now injured, right? So with Jimenez injured, I feel like Neto could be playing an out of position, as an out of position striker maybe, right? But they do have other options up there, but I feel like Neto could be given a more advanced role, right? So that's why he's gonna stay in my team still, right? And then there's Bailey. So something about Bailey that has I think has kind of put me off him for a while before putting him in this draft is that from game week 4 up till maybe game week 6 to 7, right, he has really poor fixtures, and what happens then? So I kind of explored the fixture rotations between Bailey, Neco Williams, and Andreas Pereira, and they actually rotate really well, right? So Bailey from game week 1 all the way up to game week 4 is pretty okay, right? And then we have Andreas Pereira who plays Brighton in game week 5, and then Neco Williams has a good set of fixtures from 6 to 8. So actually the Bailey, Andreas Pereira, and Neco Williams rotation could be quite useful, right? And that's why I've got Bailey here, right? I've received a few questions on Twitter about why or why I've gone for Bailey and whether I have an exit route for him. But I feel like at this point in time they rotate well enough, right? And if I need to swap him out, I may just downgrade him, right? I may just downgrade him to a 4.5 mil mid, and then which is another question I was considering, right? Because I could very well just go without Bailey, right, and then go with a 4.5 mil mid and upgrade Neco Williams to a 4.5 mil defender, which is something that I did consider, right? But I can't find that 4.5 mil Arsenal defender, so that's why I haven't done that yet, right? But we'll see. Antonio Jose asks, why plunge instead of Greenwood? Right, as I did mention just now, right? Greenwood, I feel like his ownership is too high, right? So if you want to save that, he's probably going to cost you that extra 0.1 mil, right? Because once people transfer Greenwood out, his effective ownership is going to drop really quickly, right? When people wildcard, they're going to transfer him out. And when that happens, then we're just going to lose the extra 0.1 mil. So I'm just going to go for a low effective ownership forward that probably wouldn't even, come into my team, right? That's really just a bench for the spot. Henry Wallace says, Raya, James, Darlow, Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Salah, Mahrez, Neto, Jesus, and Kane. Raya is alright. James, Darlow, Trent, Robertson, and Cancelo. Right, he's gone for a back 5. Salah, Mahrez, Neto. Yeah, I mean this is essentially what I'm talking about, right? Uh, it's just about upgrading your 5 mil. It's just like my team, right? When I downgrade Bailey to a 4.5 mil mid, I can upgrade Neco Williams to a 4.5 defender, and what Henry has done is to upgrade Neco Williams to Dalo. So that's fine as well, right? But I think it's a pretty strong team still, right? And I'm not gonna go for Dalo at this point in time because I still am doubtful of Manchester United's defense, right? So if they kind of prove me otherwise, then maybe yeah. If their prices were exactly the same, would you go for Son over Kane? Good question, good question. I feel like I would go for Son over Kane if the prices were the same. Yeah, because I've watched a lot of Spurs, right? Even last season and during the preseason as well. Kane did get a couple of goals, right? But those are in the forward positions. But majority of the chances actually come from Kane dropping deep and giving that quick through ball to Son, right? And then Son goes on to score. Right? That kind of happened a lot last season, right? And I really I really feel like Son is gonna be a very very key player in the coming game week 1 to game week 8 at least up till we walk cut. Right, so if the prices are exactly the same, I would go for Son instead. Right, but you see, when I save this extra 0.5 mil, right, I have that extra 0.5 mil to upgrade this 4.5 mil midfielder to Bailey. Right, this basically this 0.5 mil is just uh causing me to kind of see what I can do in different areas. Right, where is this 0.5 best use? Is it best use in the midfield where I can upgrade 4.5 mil midfielder to a 5 mil midfielder in Bailey, or can I do Neco Williams to a 4.5? Right, those are things I'm really really thinking about. Yeah. All right, so then up front I've gone for Kane and Jesus. I think Kane Kane and Haaland I feel are still in big debate, right? But a lot of us are gonna flock to Kane, right? I'm gonna stick with Kane because he gives me that option if I need to, or if Haaland kind of pops off, I can just swap over to Haaland, but I probably wouldn't do it the other way, right? Because come game week 2, Spurs have Chelsea, right? I won't do Haaland to Kane in game week 2 for sure. So I mean, it gives me the option. I'm not gonna lock in the transfer like what people are doing, where they're gonna say I'm gonna go for Kane in game week 1, and then in game week 2 I'm gonna just immediately take Kane out for Haaland, right? I'm gonna wait and see. It's not a definite, right? I may not go for Haaland at all for the first few um maybe 4 or 5 game weeks. We'll see what happens after that. Maga says I choose Salah over Son. I think it's risky. I mean, you could just go for Salah and Son, right? And you can just build your draft around that, but I don't feel like that would be uh, a draft that can kind of give us balance around the squad, right? Right. Okay. Then on the bench, I've gone for Steele, Neco Williams, Andreas Pereira, and Planche. Right. So Steele is just a substitute keeper for Sanchez, so I've gone for him. Right. Neco Williams, best four mil mid for sure. Andreas Pereira 4.5 mil, right? Also kind of a must-have lah, I feel. And then there's Planche, right? So low ownership, so he won't drop in price, right? So I won't lose that extra zero point 0.1 mil, right? So yeah, this is my team, right? So pretty much I would say 90% locked, right? It's just what I do with the extra zero point 0.5 mil. Do I downgrade Bailey and then upgrade Neco Williams? Do I go for Raya over Sanchez? Do I go for Saka or Mount? Right, those are just the remaining questions I have. But if not, I feel like 90% of the team is kind of fixed. Yep. All right. So now I'm just gonna answer some of you guys' questions. Right. So probably have I want to keep this stream to about an hour or so. So maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. So Monroe in the chat says, thoughts on Raya, Trent, James, Walker, Williams, Darlow, Salah, Son, Rashford, Haaland, Jesus. Wow. Is Neco Williams gonna be your starting defender though? Because if he is your starting defender, I don't think that is wise. Right, Darlow. Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to start with Neco Williams. Right, Darlow, Salah, Son, Rashford. Okay, that's an or. I mean, alternatively, you could downgrade Rashford to Neto, and then upgrade Williams to 4 mil 5. You could upgrade Williams to a 5 mil defender, right? That's for sure. Maybe a Trippier, right? But I don't really like that Williams is starting, right? And then Rashford, Haaland, and Jesus. I would still go for Kane, right? But Haaland is fine as well, right? Both are justified. Yeah, 5-3-2. Yeah. So I feel like at this point in time, I would still go for Kane over Haaland. Yeah, just solely based on the fact that I would have that flexibility to move from Kane to Haaland in game week 2, right? But not that I am kind of locking that in then. Yeah. Yeah, Neto for Rashford and then Trippier for Williams. I feel like that would be the wisest move, right? Alternatively, you can do Gabriel as well for Williams, right? He's probably one of the more nailed Arsenal defenders, right? So that's what I would go for. Right. Okay, I think this is pretty much all I have planned for this stream. Right, Marcus says Raya, Steele, Trent, Cancelo, Darlow, James, Neco Williams, Salah, Mount, Diaz, and Bailey, Jesus, and Haaland. I feel like this is a very similar team to Monroe as well. No love from our boy Zinchenko. I mean, as I said just now, I feel like Zinchenko, if Zinchenko goes into the DM spot, right, and plays beside Xhaka, I don't feel like he's gonna be as effective, right? I feel like he's gonna be more defensive, and that's not what we want. I'd rather him playing at left back actually. Yeah, so that's why no love for my boy Zinchenko. Do you think the 5 subs rule will affect picks? I feel like definitely, right? There's greater rotation now for players, like if they weren't already rotation risk, the Man City mates are just gonna be even more subject to rotation, right? And same for the rest of the other teams as well. But I mean the essentials of the teams are gonna stay, right? Players like Trent, players like Salah, they're gonna stay. Cancelo as well. Yeah. So I feel like it will affect to a certain extent, but if we just pick the essentials, right, like Kane, he's gonna play every game. Son is gonna play every game, right? So it will affect, but just to a certain extent. Right, FPL Insight says, great stream, mate. See you next time. Thank you for joining the stream. Will you be alerting us before or after making weekly changes to your squad? I'm asking because I like your team's blueprint, balance, and thoughts behind it. So yeah, I'll be borrowing it. Yeah, no problems. Right, but I feel like I could be making changes to this squad. Right, there's an extra 0.5 that I've said just now. I feel like I haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. Right, do I want to go with Bailey, or do I want to upgrade Neco Williams, or do I want to bank that 0.5 mil? Right, that's possible as well. Will you do a deadline stream? The reason why I've done a stream today, right, which I've done this discussion stream today because I'm unable to do a deadline stream, right? But from game week 2 onwards, I will be doing a deadline stream. Right? Ideally, I would have wanted to stream just before the deadline for game week 1. Right? But because I can't make it, so that's why I've done the stream today. But yeah, just tune in for the rest of the streams. They will be on Fridays. I wouldn't do it on Saturday mornings because I feel like it's just tougher to get up, right? So Friday night streams are probably going to be the staple for my channel. So if you guys are interested, you can come on for the deadline streams on Friday nights. Yeah. Who would you trade Neto for if he's not scoring points? This is interesting, right? I feel like at this point in time, there are other 5.5 mil options, right? I've played around with Neto, right? Even though I haven't taken him out of my team, but the 5.5 mil bracket is something that I've kind of considered, because if it really does happen, we need to move Neto on. So there are players like Fornals. There's also Jacob Ramsey. I feel like that around this bracket there are options, right? There's also possibilities of downgrading from Neto at 5.5 to maybe at 5 mil. There are a range of different players like Almiron. There's also KDH, right? So really quite a flexible price point, I feel. Yeah, so definitely not too worried about the 5.5 mil. If anything, I'm more worried about Bailey. Yeah. Bailey or Almiron? Neko or Patterson? Good questions. I feel like Bailey over Almiron for sure. Right, but Almiron definitely is on fire. Right, but Bailey's first 3 fixtures I just cannot ignore. Right, and Neko or Patterson? I would say Neko Williams, but actually Patterson is I feel like you can make this kind of decision depending on who you want to rotate. Right, I'm going to rotate Bailey, Andreas, and Neko Williams, and that's why I've gone for Neko Williams. Because that rotation, as I said just now, right, Bailey from game week 1 to game week 4. Game week 5, Andreas Pereira. Game week 6 to 8, Neko Williams. So that rotation is actually pretty good. Right, but for Patterson, I don't think it works as well. So if you have someone that you want to rotate among your bench as well, then you can kind of consider whether you want to go Neko or Patterson. Do you have a league to join? Yeah, I do. The link to the auto join link to the mini league is in the description, right? Any 4.0 GK has at least some chance to play. I don't feel like I've come across a 4.0 mil keeper that has a chance to play. Only if Schmeichel leaves Leicester, then maybe Ward has a chance of playing. That's probably the only one that has a chance of playing. Right, but apart from that, I feel like the 4.0 spot for keepers are just going to be bench fodders. Haaland or Kane? I would say Kane. Right, I'm going for Kane. I feel like Haaland still hasn't gelled well enough, right? I know he did score against Bayern, but I feel like City is still lacking that kind of attacking fluidity, right? That they kind of used to have. So I feel like because they need some time to gel as well, and game week 1 they have West Ham, who aren't the easiest opponents as well, right? So that's why I'm gonna go for Kane. Coutinho or Grealish? Coutinho. I prefer Coutinho over Grealish. What changes would you make to your team to get a 0.5 in the bank? Good questions. I feel like if I downgrade Bailey and I keep that 0.5, then I won't have to play either Andreas, Neko Williams, or that 4.5 mid. So that's not really what I want. Right, and I feel like at this price point, it's also possible to, at these players that I have right now, they're at price points that I'm able to move off from. Right, so maybe having that 0.5 in the bank may not be necessary, right, for this team. I actually think that it's necessary for different kinds of formations where maybe, especially I feel for the Marcus Rashford drafts, right, that 0.5 in the bank is kind of necessary. Right, for all the Marcus Rashford drafts that I've seen, right, because you have that 6.5 mil mid there, right, if you want to, I feel like that kind of price range, based on the teams that I've seen, would mostly require that 0.5 in the bank, right? But if you have a 4-4-2 structure like this, or the 5-3-2 with the Salah, Neto, and 8 mil mid, right? Then I think the 0.5 in the bank may not be that necessary as well. Same team as yours, except GK is Ramsdale and Martinelli in for Saka. Right, so I actually had Martinelli in as well. But something to note is that Smith Rowe is back in training now. Right, so is Martinelli nailed? Right, I'm not sure if... I know he's played really, really well, right, but I'm not sure if he's as nailed as he used to be. Right, so I feel like Saka is definitely gonna play, right, and he's gonna get those penalties as well. I mean, hopefully, if we can confirm. As of now, we can't confirm because the penalty that he took against Sevilla, he won it, right? So if he didn't win it and then he took it, I feel like we would get more indication as to whether he is the first choice penalty taker, right? But I feel like it's still 50-50 with Saka and Jesus, but we'll wait and see for that. Saka or Mount, yeah. That's kind of the questions that I'm having right now. I've gone for Saka right now, but it could really just be Mount just before the deadline. But as of now, because of that Spurs fixture in game week 2 for Chelsea, I'm kind of leaning towards Saka first for the first 2 games. And then we'll kind of wait and see. Right? But for game week 1 onwards, I would say Saka. I think Andre says, I think with the growing depth that Arsenal has, Martinelli will have more rotation with ESR, but the former still starts. That's what kind of happened closer to the end of last season, right? We saw Martinelli start more, and then ESR just kept coming off the bench and getting those last minute winners, right? I mean, I was a beneficiary of that, so I kept quite close look at that, and that is possibly true, right? That's possibly true that Martinelli will have more rotation, but he will start, right? But if you're gonna go for a player at 6 mil that has that risk of rotation most games, right? I wouldn't like it as much, right, as maybe a Neto at 5.5, right? So I would still go for Saka. Before I sub, I want to know if you actually know football. I mean, you can sub if you want to, mate, but I can describe to you Liverpool's system. I mean, definitely they are the Gegen pressing team, right? They definitely are the very high pressing team that you see, and I mean against City when we saw over the weekend, definitely we see that Liverpool are the kind of team that capitalize on the changes in phases, right? When teams are kind of attacking them, right, they switch over to attack really fast from defense, and that's where they kind of hit the other teams as well, right? So that's what I like about Liverpool. Right, that's interesting. Right, same team as yours except Ramsdale, GK, Perisic for Robertson, Diaz for Saka. Yeah, I feel like Ramsdale is also justified, right? If I'm gonna go for an Arsenal keeper, if I'm gonna go for an Arsenal clean sheet, then probably the keeper is the most nailed option, right? I don't really feel like the other 4.5 options in the defense are more nailed, right? Then you have to spend that 5 mil to get Gabriel, or you have to spend that extra 0.5 mil to get Zinchenko, right? So that 0.5 can actually do a lot, right? So yeah, Ramsdale is alright. Perisic for Robertson, Diaz for Saka, right? So Perisic, I did mention just now, I feel like he is subject to a bit of rotation, so I don't really like that, right? Diaz for Saka, right? This is, so you've Gregory has gone for the triple up of Robertson, Diaz, and Salah, right? So that's the other triple up, but I don't really like it as much. Yeah, but that's fine as well. Oh, nice to Joha from Mombasa Island, Kenya. Nice to see you. I really feel Golden Boot winner Heung-min Son is a must-have. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, you definitely could have him in your team, right? But 0.5, at 0.5 cheaper going for Kane here, it allows me to have a balanced squad I did try to have Son, but that 0.5 really compromises in other areas. So yeah, I don't think Martinelli gets dropped tactically, only if he's out of form. He may not be dropped, but I feel like his minutes, he may not get 90 minutes throughout, right? I don't feel like he's going to get 90 minutes throughout the whole game. Eddie Max says, thanks Leon, great stream. Thank you so much for watching. Right, best of luck to you in all this season. Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty excited for this season actually. Right, so hopefully we can get a good rank. Thoughts on Kante as a punt? No, mate. Definitely not. I mean, he's a defensive mid. We're not gonna go for defensive mids here. SK says you earned an... Oh, thank you. Seems like I've passed the test, SK. Nice team, by the way. I only change I'd make without changing your thinking so much is Neko to Patterson. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it is a decent option. I feel like both are justifiable, right? But just because of the rotation, right? Then I've gone for Neko, but yeah, Patterson definitely a good shot. Is Andreas Pereira injured? I don't think he's injured. I think the latest news hasn't said whether he's injured or not. I haven't seen anything on Twitter that says he's injured, so I feel like he's alright. Maybe you can let me know where you saw that. How is this 3 premium drafts in 3-4-3 formation? Raya, James, Trent, Dunk, Martinelli, Salah, Bailey, Neto. Badly want both Kane and Haaland. Fair, that's fair. Definitely if you go for Kane, Haaland and Jesus, then you're going to compromise in other areas. So where you have compromised is definitely the 8 mil spot in midfield and then your premium defenders, right? You're lacking your City defense. So I would say that a City defense is still essential, right? Even though it was a bit shaky over the weekend, but it's Liverpool, right? So I feel like a City defense is essential. If there's a way to kind of fit maybe a Walker in, right, then definitely. Is Andreas, yeah, answered that. Are you worried about the Arsenal double up in Saka and Jesus? Not really, actually. Right, not really. I feel like with the form that they're in, I feel like I'd be more afraid if I don't double up on Arsenal. Right, so at this point, it's really whether I want to go for Jesus and Martinelli or Jesus and Saka. So Saka is a little bit more nailed. So that's why I'm going to go for Saka. For now, right, I may just go with Jesus, right, if I do Saka to Mount. Right, that's still up for debate. I haven't decided yet. Ricardo Pereira injured in training. I feel like I'm not even considering Leicester players right now, right? But if this is interesting because Ricardo Pereira being injured may give others more minutes, right? Maybe Justin. Definitely. Okay, so I feel like this is a good time to end the stream. Thank you all for joining the stream, right? It's quite a number of people. I'm really happy to be able to interact with y'all in person, live, right? I've interacted with y'all so much in the comments, right? Replying you guys, so I really, quite happy to see you guys, and we're gonna make this a regular thing. We're gonna stream every deadline, so hope to see you guys there. Right, last question. Is your main reason for picking Saka pens as I think it's who wins it? Interesting. That's an interesting thought. It could be who wins and takes it, right? We still have to see, right? But because of the Mount Mount's second game week 2 fixture, I don't really like it. Alright, thanks guys for joining the stream. I will catch you guys again in one of the videos I'm not able to do a deadline stream. So I will see you guys in the game week 2 deadline stream. Alright, but for now, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, just drop a like down the below the video as well. And then I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye.